Hello and welcome to my Sculk AFK tutorial. So obviously there's ways to get AFK XP. One thing I was struggling with was finding somebody who does AFK to get the actual blocks, and obviously all the tutorials out there that I've seen, I don't know if I'm missing one, have been about using a block that you have and you place it down. And I thought there must be a way. We have all these generators, and I found it's actually possible with a basalt generator. So just to go over quickly how this is working, so we've got two separate systems here for collecting items, and currently there's nothing in there because it's in my inventory because I was counting how much I got from the test. I also have this creeper farm above me, so there is different farms you can use, and I see a lot of people using mob grinders. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work for me because they're not fast enough for this, and they get stuck in the elevator a little bit, so it leaves gaps, and then you end up mining basalt. So I decided to go with the simplest one I could think of, and it's just a one-layer creeper farm. I am up in the sky just to help the rates, and these frog lights are here just for showing you the build because it does get kind of dark underneath the farm. So what do we have here? We have a simple setup with some pistons, and this will just push the pistons out every single time they generate. I've just got it on a loop. I guess there's a way you could observe it, but obviously if one doesn't, then you get an odd amount. With this, it just kind of does the whole lot in one go. There's also a bit of a weird thing going on here with signs and slabs. And this is to stop the, what's this called, Sculk vein from growing. Because if it grows over here, it actually will overwrite the soul soil, which is quite annoying. And underneath I have a bunch of hopper rails going into chests, and this is just for the creeper drops. That way they don't clog up the farm and become a problem with lag or anything. These are also lined up here because I found that it would only spawn 3 at a time or within a certain range. So I had 2 here and I just moved the other one in the middle, and that seems to be working. Obviously one catalyst over here, and these 2 lines will just be how you can get into the farm and collect the items when they're done. You don't need to have this many chests. It was just for argument's sake that it is expandable. Now this is where it gets a little bit complicated over here. What is all this system for? Well, this system is to dispense me hose because you need silk touch obviously in order to pick these up. And I have a double chest here to put them in, and currently in my dispenser I have just carrots and in this hopper. So this hopper is currently locked, and when this observer activates, it turns off the torch which is locking the hopper. The hopper will drop 1 item into the dispenser. The redstone signal also then activates this torch just for a short period. I've got a repeater here on, I think, is that 2 ticks? No, 3 ticks. It's 1 before the end. And the redstone line comes over the top, sets off the dispenser, and the item will drop in here, which I should be able to pick up. Now I haven't actually finished testing this because I haven't tried, to be honest. Now that I think about it, it is ready to go. So once it sets off the dispenser, it will send this minecart down underneath, and there is a trapdoor on the bottom there, if you can see it. So there's a trapdoor here so that it can pick up that item if I don't pick it up. So what you would need to do is you would go into your inventory, completely fill out your inventory with any block, could just be any item, and then just have 1 slot where you have your hoe. And then when your hoe breaks, you should eventually, this will activate fairly often. I have it set up so this will go every single time, pretty much as soon as it's ready to go. And that way you'll constantly be having a hoe behind you ready to pick up. And if you don't pick it up, it will try again. And that's why I have this trapdoor here to block it from flying out, so it will stay within this box and get picked up by the hopper. And then it will just put it in the slot that you have open, which should be the one where you just broke your hoe, and it will just continue. And then you can literally just hold down the mouse click and click F3 and T, and then it will reload the game. And if I just show you that now, so if I hold it down, I am in creative at the moment, so it doesn't work quite as effectively. And now I'm not clicking anything on my mouse, but it is continuing to mine. And it's a little bit slow in regenerating it, but that's not a problem because it does take a while for the Sculk to take over the basalt anyway. So if it was to be going faster, you would run into the issue where the the basalt would then be in front of you and you would be breaking that instead, which isn't necessarily a problem because, okay, you're going to waste a bit of durability, but it will just break or it will convert while you're breaking it and then become Sculk. So anyway, let us jump to actually building up this farm. And first I'm going to show you on screen now a list of the items that you will need to build this. So these are the blocks that you will need in order to build up the farm part of it, and this is without the hoe dispenser. These are the blocks you will need to build the hoe dispenser that will allow you to leave it AFK overnight. The only thing you will need is a villager with silk touch, or just basically a lot of silk touch shovels. I'm probably just going to make a bunch of diamond ones just because I have a AFK XP farm, so it's not a problem doing it at the table. But yeah, it would be a lot easier if you had a villager. You can make up a whole double chest, or however many really you need. If you want to use iron tools as well, that way you're saving on the resources. And then obviously just a bunch of blocks, hoppers and chests to extend the storage and allow yourself a space to get down. So I'm actually going to go into my survival world to build this, and I'll go through block by block what I'm doing, and I'm going to actually build it with my enderman farm because that will drop a lot more mobs, and of course I already have one and I don't need it anymore, so that way I can just convert the bottom part and I won't have to worry about building another mob farm. So let's jump to that now. It's important to note that whatever blocks you choose to build this farm out of have to be ones that are essentially crafted. So that's why I've used smooth stone, because if you use normal stone, then the Sculk will overtake that and it will all become Sculk. So you can use cobblestone as well, or other blocks basically that are crafted. It's worth just checking online because there's quite a large list of blocks that Sculk can convert, so just avoid using those. I'm in the end and ready to start building, and I have moved my platform down quite a bit because I just want to make sure that they actually die when they fall. It'd be a bit awkward if I built this and they didn't die. So now I just need to start placing in blocks, and we need it to be 5 wide, and I'm going to have to remove these ones after. I do have Swift Sneak on, so if this is where they fall, then this will be where I stand. So I need from there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks. So now you want to place in your blue ice. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these will be getting pushed by the pistons. So we want 1 block there. So you go 2 out, and then you come across 5 to line it up with the blue ice. And make sure you're crouching when you do this if you're over the void, because it's quite slippery on the ice. So you put 5 sticky pistons in like that. The soul soil actually needs to go below it, so I'm going to have to go down with the water, place a block here, and that block can be removed after. So I'm going to place my 5 soul soil down here, just like that. This is very important. I'm just going to put this in now rather than at the end of the video so that you guys know. Where you place those soul soil, place 5 slabs along the side of it. You'll see at the end of the video why I should have done that earlier, and that was a big mistake on my part, so just make sure, yeah, when you're placing this in, place those 5 slabs and you should be good later on. Now we need to make a box above this. So starting from the blue ice, you go 3 over, and then you come all the way to the end of the blue ice, and 1 out, and then over the top of the ice. Now, if I place in my lava buckets, you'll see that should start making the basalt. You can do this, I think, with 1 lava. I'm not sure exactly how the basalt works. Let me just check. Yeah, so it does work. I just like to fill it up. Now we need to take some slabs and we cover the top of this. Right, so the generator is now in place. Now we need to add the system in for actually making the pistons work. So you come out 2 blocks, then you go out 2 blocks again, and 2 more. So you'll have, I've run out of blocks. So you should have a 4x2, and then you want to go this way, and you go all the way into the line with this, but only 1 block here, and that's where your lever is going to go. And we need our repeaters, comparator, redstone dust, lever, and observer. So we're going to start off, we put a lever here, we put a comparator here in subtract mode, and then you need 4 repeaters, and you put these to 4 ticks, and this to 4 ticks, and this to, actually, scratch that, this one doesn't need any ticks. And we put the dust here, 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 and here, so you'll have a line like that. And then from this dust here, we need to add a observer. And from the observer, we need to add a repeater. That's because if you don't add the repeater, the pistons won't actually fire, and this needs to be on 2 ticks. You just click that once with your right click, and then you can connect this up with redstone dust. Now that's in place, if I press this, you should see, okay, once it gets going, it does actually work a bit faster. And I haven't removed that stone at the end, have I? And there we go, now it's locked out at this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this off. Now that we have that in place, I can remove these. And of course, depending on where you're building it, you can actually do this before. You don't have to do it in this order. So these 4 blocks here are where I'm going to put my item collection. I need to come down 2 blocks and build a platform here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come around this side, place these here, and now I need my hoppers, and I am going to probably lose my redstone box if I do it here. So with this, you need to come out 6 with the hoppers, so 4, 5, 6, and fill this area in. So this doesn't actually all need to be hoppers. You can just have 2 rows of hoppers at the front, and then the rest can be blocks if you wanted. And then I need blocks here, not there, like that. These don't need to be blocks, these will be chests. And these don't need to be here right now. So you should have this area where you can now place down your rails. And once again, my items are going to get sucked up by this. Ignore my inventory right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be rows of 5. And then we need blocks on the end here. And on these blocks we need levers. Like that on the outside. And then now we need to put our... That's a bad idea. I need to keep my rockets in my inventory. We need to put the hopper minecarts on here and they should start moving. And that will be that done. Now I'm just going to fill in this gap here and come all the way along with these blocks to connect up down there, which I can't reach. So just fill in the line, and the other side should be the same. The line is filled in. I did say I was going to remove this block, so that one can go. Now that they're in place, I can actually turn this on again. I'm just going to let this fill in. Just that way I have more space to stand on. And it takes a second to start going, but once it's moving it does go quite fast. And you know what, I'll just leave it on for now. Doesn't hurt because that doesn't actually need to be turned off. You're going to be standing down on this block here. So this is where you'll be collecting the items. So I'm just going to put a block there for now. And from this side, you want to come 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, let me redo that. this should be slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we want the signs. And the signs go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the same on the other side. Sorry, these should be 5. These should be 5 here. You don't need these ones. And also don't need this one. So the signs should line up with the levers here. Same here, you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've probably gone one too far with these actually as well. It only needs to come up to this first block here. And the same on this side, 1 up here. I'm just going to collect my box. And now we need 15 signs here. So you go 3 out. Like that. So this side of the farm is actually now done. Other than underneath, which... This is awful making this in the void. I completely forgot. Underneath, there needs to be slabs on this as well. I'm just going to place a slab here so that I can just come across like this. So the underneath should all be slabs all the way up to this one here. So where you have the 2 signs, you need slabs up to that point. And then you need the same on the other side. I'm just going to put this here for now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now that side is done. So we are left with the actual collection area. So what we'll do, we'll come across here. We need to put hoppers here. So put blocks all the way the length. And I'm going to turn this off again because now I need to remove these blocks. I need hoppers again. And we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in line. We're going to fill in the blocks around the edge. And we actually need the stairs now. And I forgot stairs. Brilliant. Right, so we need to place the stairs upside down here so that we're able to place chests underneath it. And come down 1 block. And get rid of all of these. And then once we add in our chests, this is actually done and ready to use. I'm just going to come out here. And get some chests, which I also don't have, but I have in my redstone box. And the same round here. I'm just going to put some chests here for now. And my game just lagged. Very nice. Right, so now all I need to add is the Sculk stuff in. I'm just going to add some lights here so that enderman can't spawn. I don't think these should be reachable by the Sculk because they're not connected. We put the catalyst here in the middle of the stairs. Probably going to lose this box. Oh, got it. And then what you want to do is these Sculk sensors, you can just get them from the farm. I had some anyway, so these 4 blocks have our hoppers underneath. I'm going to place these 3 here. That should stop any of the other ones from spawning in. And now I just need to turn the farm back on. So I'm just going to remove all these torches. Just like that, we already have a bunch of Sculk. So let's just test this out. Let's see how much can I get in, I don't know, let's see how long my tool lasts first. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have an issue. We have an issue. How has this happened? Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I missed something. That's annoying. There's supposed to be a line underneath there. Okay, so this is now in place. And I'm just gonna press F3 and T while I hold down the button. And now I'm not clicking anything, and it's going to continue to mine for me. And so this is if you want to sit there while it does it and you can see the screen and you don't want to lose your hoe, then this will do the job. And after this I will go through how to add the automatic one in, but I'm just going to leave this here to wear through my hoe and see how much I can get in the next 15 minutes. Alright, so it's been just 15 minutes and my hoe has taken almost a third of the durability. So let's just, give me that to keep please. I'm just going to put a bunch of stuff away so that I can work out exactly what I got from that. Right, so in 15 minutes, that is 1.5 shulker boxes almost. 2,385. So in 1 hour, that's 9,500 Sculk, which is 5.5 shulker boxes in 1 hour. That is a lot of Sculk. And you're still getting some ender pearls up here. And even the ender pearls is going to be too much, so I am going to have to put something to get rid of those. And you see I did get a little bit of Sculk vein. Now I've been thinking, if I was to switch this off so that it doesn't produce more basalt, and I get rid of these, if we just stand here, if you line yourself up right, this actually can be a vein farm as well, although they don't spawn as frequently. Just a quick side note, there is a couple of fixes for the hoe dispenser system that I had to put in, and just I'll include them at the end of making it because you can add them after, it's not a problem. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. So you could actually build the hoe dispenser system before you actually build the farm, but I built it this way round because obviously these are drop-in and not everyone's going to be using that dispenser system. So I figured it would be best to show the farm first, but in order to add the hoe dispenser, you just need to place 3 trapdoors on the lower half of the block that you were standing in, and then come back out here 1. And then if you come off the side here and face towards it, you can place 2 in here and open those so they're facing like this. And then come off 1 and up again 1. So now you have 2 walls here. And then you need to place a block in here so that you can place this trapdoor against it. Break this block and lift that up. And now you have your little box to put your hose into. On the back of this trapdoor, add in 1 block, and then you need to add a dropper. Speaking of dropping, I'm going to drop a bunch of items that I don't need. Right, so now that you have that in place, you want to start putting your rail system in, and in order to do that, we need to go 1 block below this. So I'll place 2 blocks and I'll break that, and you go along these 3. and then you come off of those one, and you go one extra here, and now we can tower up into the middle of this and start placing in some rails. So we put one powered rail facing this way, and then we go 3 normal rails and 2 powered rails. On the back of these 2 blocks, we now want to place torches, so that way they will be powered once we place in some other blocks. And I am just going to fly up, but you can just tower up to get back up there. So now we place 1 block on top of each of these torches. Now off of this torch, you want to go out and up 1, out and up 1. So now we're in line with the dispenser. And you place 1 block off the side, and you come back on yourself by 1. Now we need the hoppers. You're going to place 1 hopper into the dispenser. Me from the future again, just one little fix here. This minecart actually can't go here because this is being locked out. It actually doesn't fill up correctly into the other hopper, so we just need to move this up 1 block so that this will be the hopper will be going into the chest. That way it will fully rotate the items. So we'll just place the hopper into here instead, and then we will place the powered rail here, and we'll have a block up here. And now we can place another block here, and another block here, and 1 on the side of this. And we can place 4 redstone on top of those blocks. So now it's powering the dispenser and this powered rail when it's activated. So if we come down underneath again, we're going to need to go this way out a few blocks, and we're going to go up a few blocks. So now we need to be able to put a redstone torch under that. So we're going to, underneath this hopper, place a block. I'm going to place a torch, and we're going to go down and place a block there and break this. So there should be 1 block off of the side, and we can place a torch under that. So now this is no longer powered. Just make a little staircase there, and then we need to go down again from where we just placed the torch and out again 1, and we can break that block underneath. And from this block we've just placed, we go out 2 more. I'm just going to jump up there, and we go out 2 and back 1. So now we need to place in a repeater, and we put that on 3 ticks. That way the power will stay on long enough from the observer we're about to place. But we do 2 redstone dust here, and we do an observer here. Then I'm just going to put a block here to make it easier, and this is now a light block, so it's just helping to keep this area lit up from the enderman. So we go out 1 more block after the sticky piston, and we need to build a 6x2 platform, which should be 4 to the right and 1 to the left of this sticky piston. Now we place a redstone dust here, and a redstone dust in this corner, and another sticky piston there. And now we need comparators. So we place 2 comparators next to the pistons and 2 blocks on the end of those comparators. And I'm just going to place a lever here, and we can switch that on and it will power this piston. Now I need a block. That would be nice. I'm going to place 1 block here as a temporary block, and we're going to put a hopper into that, break that block, and put a hopper into the other one. So now they should be both pointing into each other. We can also place in a redstone block in between the sticky pistons, and we need to put 12 items inside this hopper. So there's 12 items in there. That's the right timing, and now it's switched off currently because of that. So that is all of that set up. Now I am just going to put a hopper in here, a hopper minecart here, and test that this is working. I need some items, so if I just put these in, and on top of our hopper we can place in our double chest. So now if I just connect, I just put all my blocks in the hopper, didn't I? I just connect these up from the AFK part. I can reach this to switch it on and off, and you'll see this goes down now and it goes straight back up, and pretty much instantly it will go back down. So that will be a constant flow. That way, when you run out of hose, it will basically always be available to you. And you can see I should be picking them up now. And actually, I just switched it off. So let me switch it on just so you can see. There we go. I've got 11 now. And it's obviously giving me the item because I have space. But the idea is you will fill your inventory up. Just pick any item, fill it up, and then you won't have any space, and it'll only pick up when you break the hoe you're using. I'm just going to switch that off for a moment. So now that's done, I need to actually go make up some hoes. One last thing you need to do is place a block over the top of these here, because if you don't, then sometimes the dispenser will chuck the item out and you won't be able to collect it with the minecart. So I'm just going to use a light source, that way it's lit up for me, and that's it. Now it's done. Right, so a couple of optimization fixes that I did add in here is basically some blocks all around. So what we'll go through is this bit here. This is actually the line where you will be mining, and I've placed lights. They could be any block, but I just put lights to stop spawning when I come over here. And that stops the ender pearls from falling down. So if you look into my system, you should now see none of these have any ender pearls. And after, I think it's 15 diamond hoes with unbreaking and silk touch, I now have 24, and then probably one or two more, so about 25 double chests worth, which is a significant amount. And that's after, to be honest, it's hard to say how long that AFK session was because it's been over the course of a few, due to the fact that I had some issues with the ender pearls getting picked up instead. Now, another thing you can do, whatever item you're using, whatever farm you're using, just fill your inventory with the item. It's a bit harder with ender pearls because they only stack to 16. So if you use an overworld farm, you can have obviously 64 stacks, and that will just stop that from filling up this slot whenever you do occasionally pick up one. But I haven't had any issues since adding in all of these blocks. Now, I've done 2 layers above the player, 3 blocks above. So from where you stand, you go up 1, 2, 3. And I just filled in a line all the way along here and just down the side here as well, just to stop me from picking up any of those and getting them all stuck. And I also added this wall of trapdoors. I made it too wide just so the Sculk can't spread onto it, but it only needs to be 1 wide and it shouldn't be an issue. As with all the trapdoors here that are birch, these are all ones I added in because these will just stop the Sculk from spreading down. And if you come around here, you see there's a couple of bits there, and there's quite a bit under here where I had some issues with it going over the whole farm. And these are just temporary blocks I placed to go around and start removing that Sculk. And I'll probably leave the ones underneath now, but at least it doesn't spread. And it doesn't actually cause any issues for the farm, it just doesn't look very nice. I'd rather have my area be clear of that. So the other thing you can do, instead of putting all of these blocks like I have, you could actually just do like a 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, basically make a drop chute the whole way down. That way all of the items will be stuck in the drop chute. If you do choose to go with that, you actually wouldn't need to have 4 lines of hopper minecarts. You can just have 3 underneath the drop chute. Depending on what farm you use, obviously you can use one with a bigger area, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend filtering all the mobs down into a 3-block area just to have them land in this gap. And just to mention, the other reason I put the Sculk sensors here on the side was because if they spawned here, then it raises up the point where the mob falls, and depending on how far you've made the drop, so obviously most mobs need 24 blocks. Enderman apparently need 44, but I had a couple survive, so I actually went down, I think, let's see what layer this is. I've done about 60 blocks drop, just to make sure they die. So yeah, you can do the drop chute and keep the Sculk sensors to the side. That way you shouldn't have any issues with items being in your inventory. But since I made these changes and added all these blocks above, I haven't had any ender pearls go into my inventory, and I've been AFK for about 3 hours here and had no issues. And now I have plenty of Sculk. And there it is, a super simple farm. Took me about 15 minutes to build it all, and that's just by me going slowly, trying to show people as well. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a really simple design. It gives a lot of Sculk blocks, and you don't have to use all these complicated blocks to get it. Realistically, if you ignore the hose system, this part is actually barely any redstone, just some sticky pistons. Blue ice is a bit annoying to get. Soul soil is very easy to get. And then you just need to make the farm of your choosing. This can go below any farm. I just chose the enderman one because it's quicker and more efficient, which means that I won't have situations where the basalt is reaching it without getting any skulk. That did happen a bit more with the creeper farm. I hope you guys enjoyed that and that was helpful to you for building in your world. And I find it to be quite a simple design. I've seen a couple of others and they're very complicated actually. After building this, I did look into it a bit more because I was wondering why there wasn't a video for it. And yeah, the ones I've seen are very complicated and they do give a lot more of the item, but this one is fully AFK and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to leave it for 10 hours, not worry about my item being broken. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And that will do it for this video.